Here, basically, I feel like some of you, one of the main challenges coming through for this month here is to get your financial situation organized, reoriented, and figure out, where is the best, avenue to devote your time when it comes to seriously thinking about, long-term financial prosperity. Okay, so that's the major theme coming through. Um, Let me just go into the reading because I feel like there are a lot of just, disparate things that we need to touch upon. And there isn't so much of a common narrative in terms of, having a one clear direction. But I do see relationships, especially and finances, these are great concerns. And so I just want to walk through it with you to see, what's the best way for you to navigate these energies, okay? First of all, I feel almost as if, in terms of, your work situation, you're making great strides. You're on track for, being able to get promoted, being able to get like a pay increase, a salary increase, or shifting into a very good, position. So I do see vertical movement for many of you, and you're on track regarding, a specific career path where you can advance and gradually climb that corporate ladder. So I feel like you're in a very good position right now. And then I feel like for others of you, though, you might be doing odd jobs here and there. You might be able to network with a lot of people, and especially people in positions of status and power, like people that have a lot of professional connections. So in that stead, you're doing well. However, I do sense that the financial situation here needs to be looked at, okay? So I feel like I'm speaking to two separate groups of Leo people who are watching this. And I feel like for some of you, like half of you probably, um, you're on track for a very, very specific career. And I feel like you're making great strides, great traction. And then others of you who might be, freelancing, doing odd jobs here and there, waiting for a big breakthrough in order to land a more stable job. So I'm sensing that, it can go either way because the reading is very split between those two groups of people. So, first of all, I do feel, you're definitely on the right track. And I do sense that many of you are working very long hours. So there's something here where it indicates to me like irregular hours. So you might be on call. You might, work like very, very long shifts and get more days off. So I'm feeling a lot of people in the healthcare profession, especially like nurses or lab technicians, where you're working like 12-hour shifts, possibly 3 or 4 days a week only, and you have, the rest of the time free. So I'm feeling odd hours, and I'm feeling, you might need to be on your feet quite a long time, and when you go home you just want to, just lie in bed. So I feel a lot of work that needs to be done, and I do sense as well you're in some type of a public you're in a very good position where other people really look up to your what you have to say. They hang on to your every word, and I feel that you have a lot of sway over people's opinions, their habits, and being able to convince them, because it seems like you have accumulated quite a bit of expertise in your field, like professional knowledge, where people look up to you, they trust what you have to say to them, and whatever you tell them, they will follow it, okay? So they're saying pretty much, your public image looks really good. You come across as somebody who's very trustworthy, very reputable. And I feel for many of you, it's not by accident. I feel that, you have earned your stripes. You have done a lot of things in your past where you actually put yourself in probably precarious situations in order to earn the trust, the respect, and to gain the proper experience for other people to trust you. So I feel like starting this month, the career situations look very, very good for those of you who are on track to get a very good, to be in a very good position and to climb the corporate ladder, get ahead, and get into a very public environment where you will continue your work, okay? And then the others, I feel like you're working on some type of a contract basis, okay? So we have here your financial situation, and we have the Five of Cups. And I feel almost like you might be going around showing people, the services that you offer. and you might have, a few clients that you are dealing with, and some of them might have to turn you down. So I feel like in the past it was a little bit difficult in terms of like procuring projects, getting clients to go on board and invest with you, or getting clients to trust you, or getting, certain portfolios. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of artists, and I'm seeing a lot of freelance, like, photographers, wedding planners, visual artists, even performing artists, but I'm seeing a lot of art-based, like people in the creative industry. And I feel like the past 3 months, things have been very difficult for you financially. And I feel like some of you are even thinking about, can I realistically do this long term? And is it just a better idea overall for me to get into, a regular 9 to 5 job, start from the bottom and work my way up and accumulate the experience over time so that I can have a more stable inflow of money as well as a more stable job. So I feel like some of you, for the past 3 months, you have been really seriously thinking about the trajectory of your career, whether or not it is still worth doing the freelance work, because I feel like there might have been a few like missed opportunities or a few disappointments along the way. This card here, the Page of Pentacles, this is kind of like learning new skills, starting from proverbially the bottom of the totem pole. Okay, so even though you have a lot of experience, I feel like your experiences might have been varied. So you might have worked at a bakery, then you might have worked at a bookstore, you might have worked at a coffee shop. So I feel like all of these things, they're meaningful, but I feel that, it's really hard for you, and especially on paper, it's hard for employers, or it's hard for you yourself to see yourself on paper and to, figure out what is the one career track that I should focus on. So I feel like you're doing some, major reassessment, and you do want a more stable job, and you want money coming. Think about how that's going to be possible for you. And I feel like for some of you, there might be constraints within your family unit to kind of force you, or to kind of, there might be pressure to force you to seriously look at this and seriously re-examine it to see whether or not it's feasible. Okay, so that's just what I'm feeling for, the two separate groups of Leo people who might be watching this. In terms of, financial outflow, what I'm sensing is some of you, there's a lot of money being, whatever you're making, I feel like more than half of your paycheck is going towards the family. Okay, so this can be the physical rent for the house. You might be in an area that is, there's high premium for rent. So you might pay a lot of money just to rent a room, just to rent an apartment, just to rent a house. Or you might even be paying mortgage. And I feel like a significant chunk of your money, of your income, is going towards, lodging, like lodging accommodations and things like that. And then others, you might just have like a big family, extended family members, many generations of people living under the same roof. Or you might have, a lot of children. I'm seeing energies of a lot of people around your housing environment. And I'm sensing that, there might be some things, like last minute things, where there is a necessary, I don't want to say necessary, I feel like it's more mandatory, something unexpected expenditures within your household. So there has been, a lot of cases of just strange weather patterns overall. So I feel like, unexpected repairs needed for the house. So I'm seeing, torrential rain. I'm seeing like water damage. I'm even seeing like repairs for fences, or even strengthening the fence. So I feel like there's some unexpected expenditures that is necessary in order to, upkeep and maintain the house, the living environment that you're in. So I feel like you want to be a little bit careful when it comes to spending. Just set aside some savings just in case this happens. Okay, it's right next to the Tower. The fourth house deals with family, and it's also right next to the Tower and the Hermit. So I feel like there might be some unexpected news when it comes to the physical structure of the house, or even some physical structure of somebody's body. So that could be fall, scrapes, twisting of joints, things like that. So I feel like you want to set aside save as much as possible and try not to resort to, frivolous spending for this month especially. Okay, so that's just something to keep an eye out for. And so because a lot of money is going towards, this house situation, I feel like for some of you who might be doing more of a freelance work, it seems to me like there's a major awakening, like a wake up call. And it's bringing about a lot of fear and anxiety. And you might feel like, oh my gosh, you didn't anticipate this expenditure. But now that it's on the table and I feel like some of you have the money to cover it, but you're just like, what if it happens again? So I feel like there's this big, big push for you to really re-examine how you're making your money, whether or not it is sustainable long term. So should I keep, doing this freelance work? It's fun, it's exciting, but it's kind of um, the money situation fluctuates from one month to the next, or should I get into the regular 9 to 5 job where I have to start from the bottom and work my way up? So I feel like these are major important issues that are coming through either way, but it's coming through this month specifically so that you can, figure out what you need to do. So I do see some long-term planning when it comes to your career. That is in order for this month, okay? It seems like the career track is a little bit of a soft spot for those of you who are doing freelance. You're right here, but you want to be here. And I feel like because we have here the Three of Swords in the career sector, it's almost like there might have been opportunities in the past that for whatever reason didn't pan out, or there might have been, I'm just going to say for a few of you, it seems almost as if you were, on track to a specific career path, and there might have been bad decisions made and also some detours along the way that prevented you from continuing down this career path. It could be health issues from your end that prevented you from pursuing, climbing that corporate ladder. It might have been something external, such as, whatever the situation was, the circumstances was, might have been some restructuring within the company and they had to let you go, or just bad decisions. I feel I'm seeing like some regret and sadness here associated with this card. It's sort of like 3 years ago I could have, been here, but I took a wrong path, or I took like a different path, and now I'm making money, but it's not exactly my career path. So I feel like you're trying to get yourself back on track. You're trying to realign yourself, and you're trying to, seriously do some long-term planning, which I feel is going to be really good for you. So don't shy away from this. It's a little bit uncomfortable, Leos, but you will get through it. Okay, you will get through it. And it's just really important not to ignore it and try to, lay down that career path for yourself and see where you're headed, all right? You will get through it. You're very strong. And I feel like just initially the energy comes in. It feels to me to be quite uncomfortable. But I do feel that things will clear itself up. And I'm sensing, the end of the month is a good time for things to clear up. Okay, that's when, the sun is going to shift into the constellation of Aries. And in a fellow fire sign, I feel like you're going to have a lot more traction, momentum, and especially a better sense of done the reading for so far. So that's more than six signs. So I feel like the energy for the Piscean energy is very, very uncomfortable. It's forcing us to re-examine things that we'd rather forget about because of that watery, very transient energy. So I feel like it's a little bit uncomfortable the first, I would say the first 3 weeks. But after that, I feel you're going to have a better sense of direction, okay? So a re-examination is necessary, but even then, I feel that you need to have a game plan when it comes to the long-term trajectory of your career, okay? It's very important that you start thinking about this now, because I feel like many of you have people depending on you, elderly parents, children, in-laws, etc. I feel like there's a lot riding on this decision. So you're not making this decision just for yourself. A few of you might, but I feel like majority of you, there are, legitimate things that you can't afford to lose, such as, your housing situation, a business, for example. So you're trying to figure out what to do right now in terms of your long-term career. For those of you who are paying a really, really high rent, try to see if you can shift into subletting, subleasing. It's not always comfortable when you have to share space with another person, but it feels to me like somebody's paying a lot for rent, and there might be like a rent increase as well. There might be a rent increase, and I'm inclined to say that you want to check to make sure that it is within the legal limits, rather than the other person just wants the space, the owner just wants the space and they wrongfully evict you. So just be very careful. Do a little bit of digging to see if they're within their rights to raise the rent a certain amount. Okay, so I do sense that coming through for a very small minority of you guys. The last thing here is we have the chariot in your 12th house. And the chariot in your 12th house basically is the 12th house is the house of secrets. And we have some trips being taken here, and things that might be coming into the picture that you're not aware of just yet. There will be growth, there will be movement, there will be momentum, but I feel like it's really important for you to have a strategy, have a game plan laid out before you start pushing forward. Okay, so I would say the first 3 weeks, lay down a game plan, and then the last week you can figure out how to execute those plans. Okay, so I feel that it's going to be successful, so don't worry about it. And I feel like some of you are planning a trip as well, and you might be traveling with another person. You might be traveling to see another person, or you might be traveling with another person throughout the trip. So I'm feeling here an air sign, so an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, sun, moon, or rising. And I feel like I feel the trip is going to happen. So if you're in the preliminary stages and you're just like, is it or is it not? I would say block out those days. It's going to happen for you, and it's going to be a very refreshing thing for you to do. Okay, and actually, there's another message coming through here in terms of in terms of like communicating with others. Okay, I have a card here that indicates reading between the lines, digging a little bit deeper, figuring out what people mean. Okay, so there are things that are said, but what is the underlying message? What is the true intentions of what was being said? I feel like some of you, especially those of you who are single right now, I feel like you have recently broken off a relationship, or you might have broken up with somebody, or somebody might have recently broken up with you. So there is a something about not getting the adequate answers that you need from a previous relationship partner, and I feel that you're still in battle mode. You're a little bit more defensive. So there might be communication coming through between you and them in friendly terms, but you're still self-protective. Like you're just like, what do they want exactly? So I do sense that coming through, and I feel like a recent breakup is still, like within the past 3 months, for example, it's still a little bit of a sore spot for you, okay? And some of you in current existing relationships, let's talk about this. We have here the Lovers in the reverse, and I'm sensing, well, when it shows up in the reverse, it usually indicates some type of third party interfering in your relationship. So if this is an ongoing theme in your current existing relationship, I feel that it might resurface for this month. So be very careful. If it's coming from your end, definitely make sure that you don't invite, that opportunity. So if, for example, if you've been with, if you've been involved with, if you were talking outside of the relationship, I feel the temptation is going to be available, mainly because your career house is really lit up, and especially if that person is related to your work environment. Just be very careful about temptation. I do feel office flirtation, a lot of just mingling in the same professional and also social circle. And I feel like, the propensity to meet someone great is there, but I feel that this is a month for you to really work on your career and your public image. So maybe getting involved might not be the best thing, especially if they're in your professional contact group, okay? And others of you, just don't open the door for temptation. And if the temptation is coming through from your partner, if this has been a recurring thing, if it's something that you have been aware of in the past, then I do feel it is resurfacing. you need to hash it out with your partner. You need to have this discussion and clear it up, clear the air once and for all, because it seems to me like something is cycling back in, okay? And then for others, I feel like you're in a relationship where it's kind of like tapering off. It's coming to an inevitable end, and I feel that you have to come to terms with it, accept it, and figure out, how do we both move on? Okay, so there are a lot of things that needs to be ironed out, straightened out, strategized for, and a lot of solid plans that need to be. I just feel like the first 3 weeks will be a little bit uncomfortable, but after that things will start to I guess like gain traction and move forward for you guys, okay? So let's see about your love relationships and what we have in store for you for love, romance, and relationships. I feel like some of you are in a relationship where you really care about each other. It's like a long-standing, deeply rooted relationship. You might have been together for many, many, many years. And I'm sensing that, you really care about the other person, but the chemistry might be gone, like the chemistry might not be there anymore. And then for others, I just feel like there's temptation, just a lot of temptation. And you might be with somebody where there's a lot of chemistry, a lot of really good chemistry, a lot of physical attraction, but you might not be compatible. So it's going to go both ways depending on, who you're dealing with and which Leos you are. But I'm sensing that relationship sectors overall need to be re-examined, need to be focused on, and need to, partners need to have very, very important. I'm getting the message that some of you are just like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. So I don't know if there have been, military personnel deployed overseas, really, really homesick, missing their loved ones. And then for others, for whatever reason, there are some type of external or environmental constraints that's preventing you from going home. And I feel like, home is where your marriage partner is, or is where your loved one resides. So it's like, it's not really the concept of home, but it's like wanting to be with that person, wanting to reunite. Like, I just want to go home. I'm seeing some frustration in this card. It's like having oh, okay, so this makes sense. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to pull out another spread here, or another card here for this portion of it and see what's going on. Okay, so Leos, you really need to re-examine your relationships, okay? Because I feel like there's a lot of a lot of strife in current existing relationships. And you have a big sense of loyalty to people that you've known for a long time. So if you've had a relationship partner that has really helped you a lot, that you have a long history with, I feel like it's really hard for you to break those bonds, right? And so that's what I'm sensing here. So let me just talk about the foundation, because this applies to a specific group. The foundation is something that many of you have really relied on, trusted, and you hold in high regards. Okay, the foundation is like the thing on which everything else is built. And for some of you, you have here a water sign. So this is a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio that you are romantically involved with. And I feel almost as if it just shows me a lot of longing, a lot of distance, and also this sense of like immense pain associated with this person. And I know that's a very like strong word, but I that's what I'm feeling. It's almost like somebody's saying, I just want to go home. I just want to go see this person. And so you might have been broken up, or you might be at a distance from one another for whatever reason. The Three of Swords basically indicates separation. And it could be geographically you're separated from the other person, or physically you're separated, or you might have just broken up recently. So what I'm sensing is, for some of you, you want to be with this person, or this person is somebody that you really care about. They have a lot of devotion. They have a lot of just good qualities about them. But I feel for whatever reason for this month, they might be MIA. They might be a little bit unresponsive. So they might not be exactly where you need them to be, or they might not like, for example, if you text them, they might not respond right away. If you call them, they might not pick up right away. So I'm feeling some difficulties trying to understand where this person is, what they're doing. Can I trust them? And especially if they have been somebody that you've broken up with recently, I do feel a lot of longing. I do feel a lot of like, missing this person immensely. Okay, so that's coming through for some of you. Let's look at the past. I feel like some of you might have been married here. This is the marriage card, and it also signifies to me as well with the Eight of Wands. This is a card about communication. So I feel like in the past, the relationship seemed to me to be very, very stable, and then abruptly something happened where there might have been that separation, and I feel like you're kind of confused. It's making you confused, or you are still thinking about the good times that you've had, and you're trying to figure out, why can't we work through it? Why can't we had a really good thing? Why can't we, fix it? Like, what could I do to make it go back to the way it was? And I feel like a lot of you might be blaming yourself. So just don't internalize these things, okay? Things happen for whatever reason. When you're in a relationship, it takes two people. So it might not be anything that you have done. It might have just been, the other person, for whatever reason it is, they might not want to be in that relationship. So I feel some of you are blaming yourself, and a lot of you had a really good thing going, I feel, with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and then abruptly, just like a bomb just dropped on you, and the relationship is like forever changed. So there might have been a recent separation, or there might have been something that was made it really hard for you and that person to come back together. In terms of the environment that we're dealing with here, I'm sorry, the center of the reading, we have here the Death card, unwilling to let go, unable to let go, unfinished business that you still have. So there's still communication that I'm sensing here. And we have as well the Temperance card. And the Temperance card indicates patience. So they're saying that, reuniting with one another, it's going to require patience from your end. It's going to take a little bit longer. But they're telling you to hold on, hang on tight. And the other person is still going to be there because they're falling in your foundation. So they might be there in a different capacity, so if you were lovers before, they might be friends. You both might be friends with each other now. So there's still going to be communication. You're still going to run into them through mutual friends or in the same circle. But either way, they're telling you that, reconciliation, rekindling the relationship is possible, but it's going to take some time. So if you have hurt the other person, for example, I feel like it can come back together with some time. Once, the wound is healed up, I feel like they still care about you a lot, okay? And then on the other hand, if they have hurt you, I feel that you need some time to cool off. And so they're saying the whole process about reconciliation and coming back together, I feel that it's going to take some time. And as well, the separation, if you don't want to get back together, the wound, the pain, I feel that it is going to take some time to heal. What you're really thinking about here, we have the Page of Cups, so you're very much thinking about a water sign. and the Page of Wands. Some of you might be involved with a fire sign as well. So you have two people that you're thinking about. So there might have been some type of love triangle happening here, where somebody was really hurt by the actions of somebody else. So there might have been another fire sign in the mix that interfered with your relationship. So if you are a Leo watching this, there might have been another fire sign interfering in your relationship with a water sign. And if you are, I guess, or there could be another water sign interfering in your relationship if you're with a fire sign. So I feel like there was a third party. There definitely was a third party. Younger energy, somebody that was very, very flirtatious, okay? I also feel that if you were with a water sign that you have recently broken up with, I feel like they were the one that was quite flirtatious, possibly soliciting or succumbing to temptation. And I feel like it's still, I'm sensing many of you, and you're quite good at this. You're putting on a brave face, but I feel like deep down you're hurting. I feel like, you might still be friends with them, but I feel that it's really affecting your heart, okay? And I'm sensing that you don't have all the answers. It's like you still want some answers, but you're like, no, I'm too proud for this. I'm not going to ask them for reasons. I'm not going to ask them why. I feel there was a third party here. Like either another fire sign that was involved or another water sign. And others of you in another relationship batch altogether. I have here, for those of you in stable relationships, and especially if you are involved here with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of accusations. And I feel as well, there might have been, I'm sensing like there might have been accusations from you to them or from them to you regarding third party interfering in your relationship. And I feel that it's really important for you. It's like the same problems recurring, the same topics being brought up, the same problems being brought up every single time. So it seems to me very cyclical. And so this relationship, I feel like that it's on the way out, okay? Because the person is investing less and less. So if you are involved with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, I feel like the person is gradually checking themselves out. So it's on the tail end of this relationship here. And we have here the card associated with sadness and regrets. I feel like gradually you both might have a long history together, and so you might be staying together, but I do sense that it's kind of like at the end of the line, and so the relationship is on its way out, okay? For those of you who are single, they're telling you to wait. They're telling you, there might be exes resurfacing, so be very careful. In terms of like dating and your romantic prospects, I feel like there are opportunities for more like short-term flings, one-night stands, and you have two other options to choose from: water sign, new water sign, or a new fire sign here. Whether or not they're going to make the cut, I just don't feel a lot of compatibility. I don't feel a lot of compatibility overall. So they're saying, you don't have solid options when it comes to like long-term stable relationships, but you have options for fun, excitement, flings, one-night stands, and things like that. So that's what I'm sensing, Leos. I apologize for the grim reading. I do wish, and I'm very sorry. I'm seeing a lot of just regrets and pain here. It's almost like putting on a brave face. You might run into your ex like at social functions, and you're trying to, hold it together. But I feel like it is also really emotionally affecting you. They themselves are trying to hold it together, so they're emotionally destabilized. And I just feel like whatever is exchanged between the two of you, it's very just, on the surface. It doesn't really scratch at the truth. It doesn't really scratch at the pain that you both are feeling. So I feel like it's flowing mutually, like it both ways. This pain, this longing, keep it in check, because I feel like this might not be, the best dating partner for you. So I believe that things happen for a reason. And I feel like it just might not be the right one for you. Okay, so hold on for somebody who's a much more compatible fit, like a better fit for you. Okay. So if you'd like to book a private reading with me, Leo, my website is in the description box below, and I am usually booked like a week or a week and a half out. And you can view my availability on my website, and all of the appointments are booked via the website, okay? And if you'd like to donate to the channel, if the reading has been helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And if the reading has been helpful for you, donations are greatly appreciated. And the link for that is in the description box below as well. I do wish you the best.